Alrighty, what is going on YouTube? Gunsmith Gaming here today with a very interesting video. So what I was doing was I was getting my cards ready to submit. I use a middleman service, but I will be submitting to CGC, BGS, as well as PSA for this submission, and we will be sending in booster pack from the first Digimon booster box that we've ever opened on the channel. And I thought to myself, hey, I wonder if anyone else out there was kind of iffy on how to prep their cards for grading submission. And I thought, hey, why not make a quick video and see if anyone else, if it can help anyone else. So what I have prepared is I've gotten my cards set aside and they are ready to be packaged away. I have a few example slabs of the different grading services and their pros and cons as to why the community prefers one or the other. And I also have examples of what wrong and right looks like. So let's get started with the basic, what you're gonna need before even making your submissions and getting them ready. So what you're going to need to get is, these are card savers. They're semi-rigid card holders. This is going to be the standard. Any grading service that you're going to go through is going to require a semi-rigid card holder. And then what you're also going to need is a penny sleeve. Now, a penny sleeve is just going to be these super thin card sleeves that aren't gonna really hold your card snug. Now, you see what I mean when I say not snug. There's a little bit of play top to bottom, left and right, and don't worry, these card holders are gonna make sure that your cards aren't gonna go anywhere. So an example of what wrong would look like is this very fitted, very snug. You see how little room there is? So this is a no-no. And notice that it is sleeved upside down. This is more for if you're gonna put it in a top-down binder to ensure that the top and sides are protected from any dust that might get into the pockets. But this is not what you're gonna wanna do for your grading. So you're going to place your card just normal, upright in a penny sleeve. And you're going to take that card and you're going to place it in your semi-rigid holder. Now, it does take a little bit of time getting used to, and you're going to find a way to actually get it done. What I like to do is I like to gently apply inward pressure by squeezing as I adjust the card. And then I like to just hold. Now you see the card is in there, it's sleeved top down, normal, upright, and it's not going to go anywhere, guys. You don't have to worry about your card shifting while it's being transported. And this card is ready to get turned in for submission. Now, one thing that I've seen some folk do is they'll actually get these little flags. They'll take little flags. Let me see if I have any on hand. They'll take these little post-it flags and they'll stick it onto the back just enough so that the grader, when you go in to submit it, has a little tabby to pull, which is just a nice to do thing. So this is another way or another extra step that you can take when submitting your cards. Now, the other portion of it is when you are looking at your cards and getting ready to get them graded, what grading service are you going to go with? So a few grading companies out there, at least the main three that we have right now, is going to be PSA, Professional Sports Authenticators, BGS, Beckett Grading Services, and then everyone knows CGC. They are known for their comics, and then they stepped into TCG as of 2020. Now, everyone likes PSA. PSA and Beckett have been around the longest, but one thing that PSA lacks that the other two competitors offer is subgrades. Now, some collectors don't necessarily need subgrading, but the benefit to subgrading is, say this card graded a extra to mint 6. Now, I would like to know what about this card is getting that 6. If it were the edges, if it was a corner, if it was the surface, right? Or if it was centering. Now, I've looked this card over a ton, and honestly, for the life of me, I cannot tell. So subgrading would be amazing, but it just doesn't happen with PSA. So now we move into CGC. CGC offers subgrading. This card doesn't have subgrading. I don't have a good example of a CGC card that has subgrades, but essentially it's going to have these 4 subgrades left to right under the card ID, and you can see the card grading. I'm sure everyone's familiar with the grading. So grades 1 through 10, this one is a 9.
Alright guys, so also one thing that I forgot to include was that CGC also includes a pristine 10 if you score perfect 10 on all 4 subgrades. And with that pristine 10, it also has some gold accents, which is pretty cool. I don't have a good example right now, but it's worth trying for, but it's by no means as crazy cool as the BGS Black Label, nor does it hold as high of a ticket, I guess, because it's so darn hard to grade a pristine 10 with CGC. It's not impossible, but there is a lot of difficulty when grading with CGC. Different grading companies will have their specific what they nitpick on and what they hold very critical. And CGC centering just needs to be on point if you're gonna get that pristine grading. So that being said, I just wanted to insert this clip. It's just a little goof video that I tried making about the Oreos. Honestly, I'd also leave a comment down below if you were able to get yourself a tray, if you liked it, if you're laughing your ass off just as much as I am with all these crazies trying to sell it on eBay for thousands and thousands of dollars. But let's get back to the video, and I'll probably cut in again with some more details that are left out.
So this got a 9 and a mint 9, but again, without subgrading, you don't know what earned it that 9 and what took it away from being a 10. With Beckett, they add an extra layer to grading. So right here is an example of a pristine 10 Chocobo full art with subgrades, and it received a golden label. Now, if you have a pristine 10, but not a perfect 10, a 10 in all 4 subgrades, you'll receive a golden label. But if you get 10 in all 4, they have a black label that looks absolutely crazy. Now, I wish this card had received that black label, of course, as does many collectors that submit through Beckett. So Beckett would be, I believe, the topmost in terms of cost. CGC being very economic, and PSA is the middle ground. Now, the subgrading does add an extra fee onto your submission cost, So keep that in mind if you do decide to go for the subgrades. Beckett also does grading without including subgrades. So that's going to be that. So now, as we prep the cards for submission, I'm just going to go over the cards that we do have today for submission. And I just like to put a little flag with the label so I know which services they're going to. But we have Ancient Greymon going to CGC. All the Digimon cards I have decided to send into CGC. Granted, this Gallantmon would probably look crazy good in a PSA slab. And then I have my personal vintage Patamon that I would like to send in. So the backings of these cards would just look really, really good in a CGC slab, in my personal opinion. Like, that just looks really good. And we do have a few extra goodies, so I'm actually going to save BGS for last. So these are the cards that I've decided can go to PSA. They are no issues with that. And we have the Tyranitar V alt art purchase that we made. We were able to get the Rayquaza V alternate artwork as well as the full art. And we got the Dragonite full art and alt art from Evolving Skies. And we got the Japanese set Blue Sky Stream Dragonite. That's going to be PSA. Now, my BGS submission are absolute stunners. Now, I've compared them to the exact same cards that I've decided only would grade best PSA. And these cards, I've looked them all over, and I feel they would grade very strongly BGS. So these are the same cards with the exception of the Duraludon alternate art. And we're going to be sending these in for the PSA BGS grade off. And I am absolutely stoked to see what these are going to receive. Now, one more thing that I would like to note is that when you do choose your cards to get graded, keep in mind the quality of your cards and make sure that you're sending them to the right place to get taken care of. Because if I had known that a card of mine is not going to grade super well, it's not even going to get a PSA 8, never in my days would I eat up the cost and send it to BGS. And here's why. So BGS offers gold label for a 9.5 and a 10. Below the 9.5, you're going to get a silver label, and even lower, you're going to get this off looking kind of label, and then it just gets worse and worse, and it detracts from the eye appeal, in my own personal opinion. So look over your cards and take that into consideration when choosing which grading service you are going to go with. That being said, I've decided PSA, BGS, and CGC respectively based off of my own observations with these particular cards. Now, what I like to do is I like to take the cards that I am choosing to send in for submission. I like to put them in a Ziploc bag, and I'll flip the top card so that no front face of the card is going to be exposed. Okay, and then I like to just get as much air out, just for the sake of shipping. And I'll take this and place it in a bubble mailer. And within the bubble mailer, I've actually placed a return slip. If you do use a middleman service, it's just a really nice thing to do to ensure that they know who submitted the card and where to send it back to. So we are going to set our cards in this bubble mailer, get it nice and snug. Doesn't have to be crazy snug. And then I like to take the bubble mailer and then place it within the box. Now, I am also going to be including a booster pack with this submission. So let's go ahead and take care of the booster pack. Now, if you have any booster packs that you're looking to get graded as well, there's many different ways to get this done, and there's no right or wrong way as far as I've seen or heard from within the community. So what I like to do is I like to include some card savers, and these are meant to protect the booster pack. Semi-rigid holders tend to be really good in terms of transportation, so I have no doubt that these will maintain the integrity of this pack. And I put it just in a team bag, and then this should be sufficient to ensuring that this pack will receive or be received by my middleman Omash down at Omash on YouTube. I'll be sure to link his YouTube channel down there in the description. Be sure to go over and say hi. Let him know Gunsmith Gaming sent you over. And now, once that is done, I like to also wrap this in some extra bubble wrap, just to make sure that just extra levels of packing. So once everything is all wrapped up nice and snug, this is going to go in the box with the cards. And then we're going to also include an extra layer of bubble wrap on top of this, just to make sure that there's not that much wiggle room. And once we've achieved that, we're going to move on to just sealing it away and shipping it off. And that is all that there is to it, guys. There really isn't too much in terms of what needs to be done, but it just needs to be done right. Now, once everything is packed up, I like to give it a little wiggle test just to make sure that everything sounds good. So there's no wiggle. Everything in there feels secured, so this is good to be taped up and sent right on out.
All right, guys, and I am back once more to wrap up the video. How I left it was not exactly what I wanted, and I noticed that there was a lot of questions that even I was asking, like when I was talking about submitting your forms. When you're submitting directly to the grading company, there is a certain level of liability that you assume. So you're gonna assess your cards and rate them a certain dollar value. And that value should be something along the lines of, if you lost a card, what reasonable value would you like to expect to be reciprocated in the event that it is lost, not because of your own error, but due to the grading process. If it gets lost during grading, if it gets mishandled on the way back to you and it's damaged, and that's a whole nother rat's nest of if your cards come back unsatisfactory to what you were expecting. A lot of speculation about damaged cards coming back and it was not damaged when you had sent them, and that's a discussion that you gotta report up to them if you see that, and or report it to your middleman service, who should hopefully be reviewing the cards as well. But these are your cards, you know them the best. Make sure that there's nothing wrong with your cards when you send it. I like to take videos and make sure that I have proof of what the condition of the cards were prior to actually mailing them off. So with that, I just wanted to leave off on that note. And yeah, I hope that everyone's enjoying their hobby. I decided to include this clip of me just continuing to pack away some of my booster packs, my sealed booster packs that I will be sending off for grading. I'm sticking to how I did the Digimon pack. I think it came out really nice, and I decided to shift over how I had the pack stored before. I was kind of ashamed because it was just a mix of cardboard and sleeves, and it just didn't feel right, and I didn't want to even show it. But I so cannot wait to send these in for grading. PSA has changed how they do packs. So before they used to fold the ends to make it fit into the packs, the slabs. So now even long tabs like the Final Fantasy that you had seen, and I'm super excited to see this X and Y Primal Clash slabbed up because Kyogre is one of my favorites. I just hope you guys have the best time in the hobby, and be sure to just do your own diligence, take care of your products, and make sure when you're sending these things out that you are doing your best to protect it. Because in the end, if you don't care enough to take care of your product, how are you going to expect anyone else to take the same level of care? At least set it up before you even ship it out the best that you can to make sure that it gets to them safely for grading, and then it's in their hands, and hopefully they do the best to get it back to you. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really appreciate it. If you liked the content, be sure to drop a like. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. We do try to have fun here. And if you don't want to hang out, by all means, you can change your mind. That doesn't mean that we didn't appreciate having you for whatever time you are here. And hopefully you do stick around, because I have so many more ideas as things progress. But that being said, happy hunting, guys, and I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.